Hey guys, welcome to Lutapod, the podcast that proves sport isn't just for the boys.
That's right, we're here to laugh, run, or maybe even inspired to pick up a book. Or not, no pressure.
I'm Szilvia.
I'm Aniqa.
Woman in sports.
Say less, we're already here.
Welcome back to Lutapod.
So you might be wondering, what is Lutapod? Lutapod is a sport for young women and girls to come and share their sport stories, whether it's the high, the low, or even the funny bits in between.
Each week we bring in a very special guest to keep it real and to remind everyone of the females in sports. This week we've got Asmaa. Hi Asmaa. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good.
We're good.
How was your day today?
It was okay, quite chill to be honest. Didn't really do.
What did you really do?
I taught first 2 periods and then I marked and had a few meetings and then I'm here.
Okay, just to introduce her, she was also the previous host of Lutapod. So last season, guys, go and watch it. Okay, so we're just gonna go straight to the icebreaker. So after your workout, tell us your favorite 3 snacks.
My post-workout snacks aren't necessarily the best. I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone else. But for me personally, I like to buy a drink, probably have a crisp and then probably snack on my favourite chocolate, which is the Smooth Milk Galaxy bar. Okay. But yeah, that's literally, it's not, don't buy it. don't be inspired by me, don't get what I eat.
What drink are we talking about?
Usually either Lucozade or...
Oh, I knew she was going to say that.
Yeah, just something like that. Sugary drink or something.
You should get that coconut drink.
Well, no, I don't like that.
It's so nice.
It's so disgusting.
Nice.
I don't like it.
You should try it.
It tastes really bad. It's
Anyways,
really
okay.
Okay, so do you want to introduce yourself, just so everyone knows?
Yes. My name is Asmaa. I'm 24 years old. I am a competitive boxer at Fight for Peace. My full-time job is I am an English teacher during the day, and then after I am a competitive boxer, amateur boxer.
Okay.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me go into the first question. What is it about boxing that made you push yourself hard enough to start competing? And what inspired you to pick this sport out of every sport there is?
So the first half is just for me in terms of what inspired me to get into boxing. I've always been into sports. I've been someone from a young age that has always been involved in sports. I've been someone that took part in so many different competitive sports such as athletics, netball. I even did basketball at some point. I don't know why, but that's the type of sports I was always involved in. It was always something that drove me throughout my time from primary school and secondary school. And then when it came to boxing, I remember it was because I finished secondary school, and when I finished secondary school, what happened was I felt kind of empty because what had happened was I used to play for Crystal Palace in netball, and then I stopped because I started my GCSEs. And when I started my GCSEs, what had happened was I just completely stopped sports. And then when I went into sixth form, obviously I started my A-levels and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then I think what happened was Nathaniel posted on his Snapchat story that he's coaching for boxing. And then I was like, oh yeah, I want to come. I was still 16 at this point. So it wasn't necessarily for competing, but more for my own mental state, only because I felt like I was so academically occupied with everything else that what had happened was I kind of lost what I love to do in my spare time. Joining Fight for Peace, I never actually thought I would be here in the long run. I just thought it was oh yeah, after school I can come here when I'm not revising or when I'm not preparing for my mocks or my exams. And then I actually ended up leaving Fight for Peace for 3 years or 4 years because I moved out for uni. So I wasn't really here that much for a few years after. Then what had happened was I finished uni and I came back to Fight for Peace because I was still in contact with Athena and Famida, so other people within Fight for Peace, but I didn't necessarily think I'd be coming back into the competitive phase. Then to answer your second question, what had happened for me was I didn't actually ever want to be a competitor. It was Coach Emmanuel that told me every single time I used to come to training, he would literally point at me and be I want you to compete. And I'd look at him no, me compete, I'm never gonna compete in boxing. And he'd always say, he's when you're ready to compete, let me know because I'm waiting to have you on my team. And he would say it every single session without a doubt, and I would always refuse. And then I think it came to like me coming back to Fight for Peace around like 6 months in. I started coming like every single day, but not like every day in only boxing, but even for recreational purposes. And then I think what had happened was Raluca ended up getting pushed up to the competitors, and me and her spoke, and she was like, oh, just do it, like, you never know. So Emmanuel came up to me one last time, and he was like, I'm not going to ask you again, like, I want you to compete for my team, like, are you going to join the competitors? And I was like, you know what? Let me actually try. So I said, okay, fine, I'll join. So that same day, he put me in the competitors. And I remember we went on a block run, yeah, and I was the person at the back. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I looked at Emmanuel and I was like, this is what you want me to do? Like, this is exactly what you want me to do? And he's like, yeah, like you did it. Did you die? And I was like, no. And he's like, so you're coming next week then? Because I think it was on a Friday. And then he said he's waiting for me. And then it just happened. I don't know what happened after that, but I started coming every single day. Like, if I don't come, I feel like something's missing. Yeah. And it's become part of my routine, and it's literally part of my reality. Like, I want to be a boxer, and I will always have boxing in my heart now. But yeah.
Okay, so before we move on to the next question, I would just like to ask, what was your position in netball?
Wing defence and centre.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was an attacker.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. When I was in
I didn't really
secondary.
like attackers. I was always a defender or like
Why?
in the centre.
Anyway.
Because I was always... The thing is, for me, even though I'm really short, I jumped really high. So in my team, I was always the defender. Because even the tall girls couldn't jump as high as me. So my captain always had me like in defence or centre. That's probably
Slave.
why. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say your difficulties was along your boxing journey, and how did you overcome it?
There were a few difficulties I had. The main one at first that I had just in terms of like boxing and sports was I just took so much pride in academics. So that occupied my time so much that juggling things to do with like what I wanted to do outside of academics kind of stopped me from wanting to do boxing. Then the second one is like my mom, not in the sense of like a bad way, but I think for my mum, same, like the academic pressure of like pushing me to get myself in a position where I'm like socially mobile rather than being in a position where sports occupied my time kind of stopped me as well. And then coming into boxing, one of the biggest issues I did have was like being the only girl there with Raluca, of course, but it was always like the guys that were there and then it's just me and Raluca. And there's times that like Raluca's not there and it's been me by myself, and I'd always face the struggles of even days when like I'm so fatigued. I know the men would never understand, so I'm like even like things to do with like the like being on my menstrual cycle or just being on my luteal phase or things like that. Like I still face those struggles till today, and nothing to do with like the men in general, like because it's not their fault I have periods, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it just puts me in a position where it's like in terms of like the way we are biologically, men and women will never biologically be the same in the sense of being in the same room and having the same levels of energy, being able to communicate the same, being able to get things done the same. It's always at a different process for both of us. Definitely. And even till today, like I still have the struggles of being able to articulate myself to my coaches, because if I say I'm tired, I'm not saying I'm tired because I don't want to do it. Sometimes I'm tired because my body's tired, like I'm fatigued, and it's got nothing to do with me, but more to do with just the biology of my body. Like maybe I'm about to start my period, maybe I just feel really down hormonally, but it doesn't stop me from trying to say that to the coaches. I think that's the main struggle that I have right now, just for myself and no one else like in the team that I know probably faces.
Was there anything in particular as a Muslim woman that you experienced?
Being a Muslim woman in general, like, you know, I fall into an intersectional group, like I'm a black Muslim woman. I knew like from even before joining, that I would always be the outcast in any other aspect, regardless of it being like a male-dominated sport. But I think as well, adjusting like the way I dress in a sport that is predominantly like encouraged to like, not necessarily to be out there, but just things to do with wearing the hijab. Like I have to wear my hijab while I'm training, you know, making sure that I'm not putting myself at the forefront and look in a particular way, only because like I know for myself it's not a representation of how I am as a hijabi. I know I have my own struggles as a hijabi, like, you know, but in terms of the sport itself, it's not necessarily stopped me or been a barrier in competing, other than the fact that it's not only a boxing thing, it's just a gym thing. The way I dress is always going to be an issue because I dress modestly regardless of my religion. So I'm always going to be wearing more layers than others would because that's just how I dress.
Yeah. To be honest, what you said before about the whole you and another girl being there with all the guys, I can agree with that because honestly when I joined it was just me and Nana, and it's always just been me and Nana.
I always still see you and Nana.
It's always just me and Nana.
Yeah, and your group is bigger, so I can only like empathize with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with us, it took me so long to have the boys even take me seriously, like in the competitors, and I'm not even trying to be like shady about them because it's just how we are. You always have a predisposition about people regardless of if you know them or if you don't, and like your unconscious bias would automatically assume like she's weak or she doesn't know what she's doing, she's not good at sports, or why is she here? And being 4'11" doesn't help either. You know what I mean? Like they're all looking at me like, who's this short girl? Like what's she doing here? But I ended up making friends with all of them and they're so nice. Like over time I've built such an amazing bond with them. Like I couldn't imagine like representing any other team.
Yeah, once you become friends with them it's fine, but in the beginning they're like, they kind of never even want to be your partner because they don't want to hurt you or they don't want to, that's what they all said to me. They were like, no, I can't be with you.
Because I don't want to hurt you.
Like, bro, what?
You're a girl, I don't want to hurt. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when I hit you, you're going to get angry at me that you got hurt. But
literally. Okay, so leading on to our third question. What does a typical day or a week of your training look like? And what makes you push yourself to keep going?
So a typical week from Monday to Saturday for me would look like, obviously during the day I teach, so from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or like 4:30 I'm at work. Then I come straight to training. I would usually like end up meeting my two teammates, Marley and Raluca, and then we come here together. Mondays is typically like sparring and technical work. Tuesdays is more cardio, where I do like my 5K runs and I do pads with like the coaches, and then Wednesday again is sparring and then technical and pads. Thursdays is S&C, which is like strength and conditioning training, just in terms of like my strength, how I am in terms of power and my sharpness in my boxing. And then Friday is like more technical but partnered work as well. Saturday we sometimes do sparring in the morning, or we'd end up doing like pads or one-to-ones with like the coaches. But typically that's what my week would look like. I don't think it ever changes. Either it would change if like a teammate is competing and then we go and watch them, and then if not, then it stays the same.
So how do you keep pushing yourself to keep going?
In terms of like pushing myself, I think my teammates push me the most. Like the one thing I look forward to throughout my whole day is boxing. I wake up in the morning sometimes and I'm not a morning person, so to be up early, like sometimes I'm groggy, but even with how I am with people, my students, and everything to do with my behaviour and my attitude, I'm not gonna lie, like it's knowing that I'm going to train later on in the day that makes me feel happy, like that keeps me going. And another thing that also keeps me going is that I teach at an all-girls school, so a lot of the girls look up to me and they know I'm a boxer because of like social media or stuff like that. But they always, without a doubt, like are very involved in my boxing journey. They ask me about boxing. They're very inspired by it. They want to be boxers too, or they want to be involved in sports. And it's just things like that intertwine with each other that genuinely keeps me going. And knowing that I have such an amazing like team, an amazing bunch of coaches that push me to my limit makes me feel like I can definitely keep doing this, and at no point do I ever feel like I can't. If anything, I constantly feel like I can do more and I can do better. And it's always about your surroundings, you know, having people around you, because as much as you are alone in the sport of boxing, the thing that keeps you going is the people around you. And I genuinely feel like if I didn't have the people I did in my team, things would be different. I know if I was at another club, I would probably take longer to fit in, but I know it's like moving jobs or moving houses or making new friends. Like, you're not always going to make friends with people. You're not always going to get along with people you work with. But what a privilege it is for me to get along with my teammates and know that we have that type of bond. And I'm very lucky and grateful, to be honest.
Yeah, that's such a good mentality to have as well, to be honest, to keep pushing yourself like that. To be fair, I always, like, anytime I joined boxing, I was always looking up to you. And Afina was always telling me, to, like, look at you, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's so nice.
She's really sweet, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Athena, like, when me and Athena even used to do the podcast before that, I wasn't competing the way that I am now. And I know she still comes up to me sometimes and she's like, oh, by the way, like, I told so-and-so about you. Or this girl, like, came up to me the other day. I did a one-to-one with her and I told her to look at your videos or look at this. And it's really nice to see, like, how much I've progressed, not only, like, physically, but mentally. And I've, like, inspired other people. So it's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
So you said, of course, as a woman, we sometimes feel tired for reasons. How would you say you prepare yourself mentally and physically for your upcoming fight?
I think for me, because I'm an overthinker, I genuinely try my best not to prepare too much. Because for me, I am a person that likes things a particular way. If I don't have it a certain way, then I'm very upset, and then I feel like my whole day's ruined and I have to, like, have grasp of control over something. So the one thing I try not to control as much is, like, if I know I'm about to start my period, I don't really do as much preparation as others do, only because I find that when I do prepare too much, I end up setting myself up for failure. If I think too much about my fight, I end up overthinking my outcome, and it could change the way that I perform when I'm in the ring. So I actually go about it as if it's just normal. Because I can't stop myself from having my periods. I can't stop myself from winning or losing a fight. But what I can control is just my mentality going into it. So sometimes when I'm in training, there's months where I feel physically, even though I'm on my period, like, I'm okay. And then there's others where I'm, like, so down. And the coaches even have this thing where, like, they know when I'm overly complaining and I complain too much. They just look at each other and they're like, just ignore her, man. Just, like, just leave her. Like, the fan, you would literally go, oh, you're complaining again. What's your time of the month? And you're like,
wow.
like, keep, like, don't worry, we'll allow it. Like, we won't really do much about it. But it's because it's just how I am. Like, and for them, it's like, I like that because it means they don't treat me any different. Just because there's something that has changed in my life, I don't necessarily want to seek pity from the one sport that keeps me going, because the last thing I want is to have people look at me and think, oh, because she's going through so-and-so, maybe we should adjust the dynamic to be able to fit whatever she's dealing with. There are times where I would speak to certain coaches like Justin, and I would tell him, like, my weight is kind of off, like, because I'm on my luteal phase, this, that, and the fourth. But I always give them a disclaimer, like, yes, go easy on me, but not too easy. Or if I feel like I might be feeling too low, they'll push me until I can't physically do it anymore. But for me, I don't like to differentiate myself from the men in the group, only because I feel like doing that to myself is and I end up excluding myself, and then I'm the one that's going to complain, being like, oh, it's because I'm a woman, or because of this. We are always never going to be the same, and I have to accept that. I'm the one that put myself in a position to be in this sport. So the last thing I ever want to do is feel sorry for myself when this is the one thing that keeps me going every day.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So you have, like, kind of that mentality of, like, don't really overthink things that are not in your control.
Exactly, like, what's not in my control, I can't do anything about it. But it doesn't stop me from overthinking. It just stops me from spiraling and going around in circles. Like, sometimes when I find myself getting to a point where I constantly keep overthinking it, I just have a conversation with, like, Marley, or I have a conversation with Raluca, or I just go on a walk. Like, it's really not that difficult. Sometimes, like, people talk about you being alone in the ring, but it's more about you also being alone up there. And like I said before, I'm going in the ring alone, but I've got my team around me that are supporting me outside the ring, that are cheering for me, like, making sure that I'm in a position where mentally I leave sane. Because as much as I'm there throwing punches, if my brain don't believe it, then how am I going to believe it? So I just think preparing myself too much is, like, for me personally, kind of puts me in a position where I'm directing towards failure, but then not preparing enough can also be the same. So I like to be in the middle, and that's where I have a balance of not only myself, but also the people around me. I like to feel comfortable with certain people and know that they are like the anchor for my issues and when I'm dealing with whatever I'm dealing with.
Right, so hearing all this, I want to ask how your first fight went and how
Go on.
and
Like
how
the
it,
things
No,
you
it's
said,
okay.
Did it actually benefit you?
My first fight, like how it went for me mentally, like preparing and everything, I'll be honest, it's not the same as how I am preparing now. I faced so many difficulties last year, like last season. So when I think about my first bout compared to how I am now, I won't necessarily say that it's something that I can look back at and be like, yeah, I want to do that again. Only because it's a learning curve for me, because it put me in the state of mind that I am in now. And this is why I say that I don't want to overthink things anymore. I don't want to over plan and then under deliver or over promise myself certain things and then be disappointed in myself when it doesn't go the way that I want it to go. But yeah, like even in terms of preparation, I had Kenny helping me a lot, and Nathaniel and Justin. They all helped me like collectively, but I knew like the main person in my corner was Kenny. And what happened was, like, during my fight and everything, I knew as much as I was in there by myself, I had the people in my corner that were also supporting me, and then I had my whole team cheering me on and everything in itself. Like, it's very surreal. You feel like you're not in there, but you're in there. It's so weird to explain. It's not the same as sparring. Like, I remember, like, even Kenny taking off my mouth guard and giving me water, and I'm looking at everyone and I can't even utter one word. Like, I can't even say one thing because I feel like I felt like I was in the deep end. And a lot of boxers say the same thing. Like, when you go into the ring, you're actually in the deep end and you have to swim yourself back up. Like, no one is going to do that for you. So even the experience I had with my first bout, I'm glad I had the experience I did, because now I know what to do and what not to do. But I wouldn't change it, because I feel as though no matter what, the outcome or whatever I decide in the future of boxing or going into the ring again, I'm always going to learn something leaving that ring. Like, I'm always going to learn something walking out from somewhere, and that's the main thing that I want from it.
I think it's like boxing's a very like solo sport. I feel like that's why I like it so much as well, because with like, it's different from other sports, just because with other sports you have a teammate, so you guys work together, but with boxing you're by yourself. So I feel like it really prepares you mentally to kind of, you know.
It forces you to mentally, like, it's crazy, because like, even when I used to hear people before talking about boxing, like, I don't watch boxing, I don't watch boxers, I never thought I'd be a boxer ever. And sometimes when I'd stumble across videos, like, all the boxers will always say, like, boxing is more of a mindset thing than anything. Like, it forces you to mentally, like, sort things out in your head that you've probably suppressed, or things outside of boxing. It forces you to, like, take out what you've kept in and bring it out. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, there's so many things I've seen from an introspective level, and if I didn't have boxing, I don't think I would be seeing things in that way. And it's so crazy, because to other people it just seems like it's, oh, punch in the bags, punch in the pads, but it's really not, because there's so many times where I felt like giving up and I didn't. And sometimes I say to myself, if I go to training every single day and I come out feeling better than I already did, whatever obstacle comes my way is really not that deep. And no matter, even when I face hardships, I'm like, okay, but at least I know I'm going into the ring later on today. Like, at least I'm going training today. Like, I literally get excited. Like, I text anyone I'm texting throughout the day, they're like, oh, what are you doing there? I'm like, oh, I'm going training. They're like, oh, when are you free? I'm like, only Sunday. And they're like, oh, but it's literally what keeps me going.
Yeah, honestly, what you said there, I can't lie, I used to say that all the time, especially when I eat a lot. Like, I'm eating throughout the day and I'm like, it's okay, I'll burn it off in boxing later. Like, I always
like,
say
you
that.
always come back to boxing no matter what, and I love that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
For boxing, I would say it's like a sport, but it's also exercise. So it's like a
combination of both.
And it's nice, like, because let's say you don't like going gym, but then if you do boxing, you kind of get bored out of it. Like, you're getting fit, but you're also learning techniques.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a very good sport to have
Yeah.
and learn.
I agree. Because even for me, like when I do S&C on Thursdays, I hate it. I'm not a gym girl. And I say it to all of my coaches every single time I'm in the gym, like, and they're making me lift crazy weights. I look at them and I'm like, I will never be a gym girl. Like, I will never be a gym girl. Like, it's not for me. Like, I will literally be like, get me out of here. And they're looking at me like, okay, but you still have to lift that weight. Like, you still have to squat that rack. Like, you still have to do all of this. And it's crazy because sometimes I'm like, if I like boxing, I should automatically feel like I should like things like the gym, but I don't. And it shows to me like that's why boxing is so special to me. It's something that I don't affiliate with other things that other people might assume you might like too. And it just shows you like it's not really just about the sport in itself, it's also about you, and it makes you realize so many things about yourself. Like it doesn't matter if I don't like the gym, I like boxing and I'm an athlete regardless. So yeah, it doesn't, yeah
it is really just about you, because with me it's
definitely.
I like the gym. I hate cardio though. I
yeah
hate cardio.
Oh, I hate cardio too.
I hate running.
Me and you
Oh my
both.
God.
I have to do cardio after this. I'm dreading it. I'm not happy.
Okay, to add on to what you've been saying, what is the most important lesson you have learned from boxing that you use in your everyday life?
To keep going. I feel like I say it to everyone. No one is coming to save you. Like, you can sit here, you can wallow, you can be sad, but it's not going to stop the world from spinning, and it's not going to stop people from like going about their day and their lives. Like boxing really opened my eyes to make me see that I've got myself, but I'm also very, very lucky to have people around me, because when I say that, when people used to say to me like, oh, but the world's like gonna keep spinning, I used to get so offended. Like I used to be like, how can you say that? Like I'm so sad. Like everyone needs to be sad because I'm sad. But boxing made me realize, no one cares. No one's coming to save you. Like you get punched in that ring, you're bleeding, no one cares. You keep going. Yesterday I had sparring. I was bleeding in my mouth. And Coach Justin looked at me, he's like, good. And I was like, okay. Like, it's gonna keep, like, you have to keep on going. No one's come to save you. You've got yourself, you've got we all are privileged enough to have people like around us. And even if we don't, we're lucky enough to have human interactions every day. And it's made me very grateful for a lot of things that I didn't have before. But yeah, that's my number one thing. No one is coming to save you, and keep going, because that's the best thing you can do. No matter what, don't give up.
Yeah, that's so real though. No one is going to save you, honestly.
True. That's so true. Each to their own, to be honest.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the last question, as I mentioned, you are the last host for the previous Lutapod. What would you say you learned, like your experience or something you learned from the previous Lutapod season?
To just push myself out of my comfort zone. I remember when I first did it and I was so awkward, like I felt so stiff and I just felt so like small. Even being on here, I'm like, I'm very anxious right now, but you couldn't tell. And that's the like one thing it taught me, like, you know, being able to push myself out of my comfort zone. And and before I was really in my head and now I'm not. Like being part of Lutapod really pushed me to see that I'm more in my head more than anything. And doing the podcast just made me feel more free, just in terms of how I interact with people, because I am very socially awkward. Sadly, like I'm awkward. I like being by myself. Like I like being in the corner, no one looking at me. To know that the limelights were on me, it made me feel like, oh my God, like imagine people can see my spot on my face. Like imagine people try to see something on my teeth. Like imagine I look silly, you know. But no one really cares like that. And it just, it's fun. Like it's a fun experience you can look back at and just laugh at. I haven't watched any of my episodes though, so I'm not really looking back at that, but yeah.
Do you think it helped that you were hosting with Athena, because you guys were close?
Yeah. It was fun with Athena. Like we had a really good time. I remember when I first did it, I was never meant to be part of it, but it just happened. Same way boxing just happened. Like it just happened. It was fun. Me and her had so much fun in terms of like joking around, what we had to say throughout the podcast. It felt very easy, like not too awkward at all. She could sense sometimes when I was awkward, so she'd take the the lead and whatever. But it was fun, yeah. Definitely doing it with Athena made the experience much better.
That's just like me and Szilvia, because I wasn't meant to be here either.
Really?
But now I'm here, guys.
See?
Yeah, that's true today. Okay, so to move on to the last question.
Yes.
I want you to like paint a picture, right? Just imagine I gave you a megaphone and you had to say one thing that is heard by everyone in the world. What do you say?
Something deep, something personal maybe.
Something you want everyone to hear.
I think the one thing that's always on my mind every day that I believe in after my first fight is take the chance or lose the risk.
Ooh.
Do you want to explain that?
No, wait, it's the other way around, guys. Take the risk and lose the chance. There you go. Cut that part out and put the right part in. Take the chance or lose. No, wait. Take the risk. I had a long day, man. Leave me alone. I had such a long day, please.
Okay, so
take the chance or lose the.
Take
No,
the
take the risk or lose the chance. There you go. Take the risk. No.
Yes, take the risk.
Aladdin, you better take this part out. If you don't, I'm suing you. I'm being dead ass. Take that. You're gonna take it out. You're gonna take it out. You're gonna put the right bit in. What did I say again?
Take the risk and lose the chance.
Yeah, there you go. See, doing that made you guys remember it too. So take the chance or lose the risk. I think it's very important. Like,
It's the other way around.
see, I'm tired.
Take the risk.
Take the risk or lose the chance. There you go. I literally, you know what's crazy? Yeah, you guys are gonna laugh. But I go to Fatma's house every day. Fatma comes to fight for peace, yeah. And me and her like this. I go to her house like all the time, yeah. If I'm not doing anything, I go to her house straight away. She lives like round the corner, innit? She literally has that quote on her wall. And I remember like talking about my first fight with her, yeah. And we were just sitting there having a deep conversation. And I don't know what it was, yeah, but I just kept looking at it. Like, while she's talking, I'm just taking in the quote. And then I walked out of her room, yeah, and I was like, what was that quote again? And I was like, don't worry, when I go back to hers, like, I'll read it again, I'll see it. And then I was on, like, TikTok, scrolling, whatever. And then the same quote came up. And I was like, oh, my God, Fatma, is this not on your wall? And she's like, yeah. And every single time I feel like I can't do it, I always remind myself of that quote. I'm not going to say it again because I might get it wrong. You know, my head's a bit fuzzy right now. But, yeah. You get the gist, innit? You do.
We get it. We get it. Do you want to explain it, though?
What it means for me
Yes.
and what I think it should mean to everyone. It's just like, if you don't do something that you're thinking about of doing, then what it just ultimately does to you is puts you in a position where you will never know what the outcome could have been had you taken that chance. Like, I think for me, I love it because I always overthink everything, like going back to my overthinking, and it would always stop me from doing something because I'm such an avoidant. Like, I avoid everything. Anything makes me feel uncomfortable, I avoid it. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. Or someone's made me feel a certain type of way, I'm like, yeah, you stay back, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, I don't even, I'm such an avoidant. And I think that's why also I'm socially awkward, that it's all very intertwined with each other. But doing boxing, I don't have that choice. I don't have the choice to be able to be like, yeah, I'm walking away from boxing today because I'm just not feeling it. You guys are annoying me. Like, I want to walk away from you. I can't do that. I still have to come in every day. I still have to train. If a coach annoys me, it annoys me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. So when it comes to even taking a bout, sometimes, like, at first I used to be like, no, I'm not bouting. No, I'm not bouting. I used to say it to Michael all the time. Like, he'd be like, oh, yeah, we found you a match. Like, are you going to fight? I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then I think over time, I was like, wait, why am I saying no to everything? Just because it makes me uncomfortable, just because it makes me feel weird, just because I feel like I'm going to lose. Like I said, I love having control over things. So when I feel I don't have control, just mentally, I usually avoid it. But that quote means something to me because it forces me to not avoid things. It forces me to genuinely take that chance than to ever sit there and be like, oh, but what if I did this differently? What if I, you know, like, it's the best thing to do in everything, to always take the chance, honestly.
Yeah, I think
completely agree, to be honest. Like, even with Lutapod, like, when she asked me to join her, I was like, do I really want to do this? Like, being in front of the camera and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of gave her a late reply as well on purpose because I was thinking over, do I want to do it or do I not want to do it? And I was like, I might just do it. Like, what's the harm in it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
just do it. Who cares? Like, I literally did it last year because of the same thing. I was like, who cares? Like,
definitely.
Even though I cared deep down. I know I cared deep down, but I kept telling myself out loud, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? But yeah, like, I think that's the best advice I could give.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, especially when you look back on the things you went for and then you realize, what if I hadn't done it? Then I wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And also what it does for me, it's so weird because it does the complete opposite for my anxiety. Like, knowing I took that chance shows to me there's nothing I could have possibly done to either change the outcome for better or for worse. And I did the best that I could, and I'm walking away from something or an experience or a person or things knowing that the last thing I did was put my all into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much
For being here.
joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We loved all your answers.
Thank
It was
you.
So I hope you guys get inspired because we sure did.
Apart from the last bit, you know what I messed up.
Well, thank you so much for watching Lutapod, the podcast that proves sport isn't just for the boys.
If you didn't know that before,
You definitely do now.
Make sure you answer the question as well, that same question we asked Asma. Make sure you write down below and come back for the next episode.
Thank you guys. Bye. Bye.